Hi there, Ryan.
Hey, how are you?
Very good, thanks. You okay?
I'm good. I'm good. Just enjoying the afternoon here in sunny California.
Very nice.
Hey, what a great film, and what the Radleys. What a different take on a vampire film, not your traditional film. I focused a lot on the family, almost a coming of age story within it. So I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. I'm really pleased that you did.
And I know it's based off of Matt Haig's novel. What drew you to this particular story, and how did you have to face any challenges adapting that to the screen?
One of the things that I'm really excited about in Matt's writing is his exploration of addiction and mental health, and the fact that he's chosen in his novel to explore that through the lens of vampires, and how do you, if you're a vampire, how do you cope with this
Yeah,
destructive desire within you? Which is what this film is all about. What do you
yeah,
do? Do you abstain? Do you yield in and give in to your authentic self and live your true life to live your life as true to who you are? And I think looking at the story through the twin lens of Will and Peter, who are these two twin brothers,
yeah,
born with the same DNA, born with the same fatal flaw that they're both vampires, but one of them makes choices in life to be good and
yeah.
repress desires, and the other, Will, who's the bad character, yields to who he is and goes off and has this bacchanalian, bloodlust-filled life of debauchery. And actually, we as viewers, good and bad becomes a decision that we have to make because there's good and bad about Will's choices and there's good and bad about Peter's choices too. So it's a morally very complex piece, and I hope that we've caught some of that was in the novel in this film adaptation of it.
Well, I know personally I haven't read the novel, but I definitely will now after seeing the film to kind of see if I can draw that comparison. And the fact that the kids are kind of facing the same thing, choosing what to do morally, whether to give into their newfound urges or to just, be like the parents last, several years and sustained from, uh, you know, giving into that urge.
Yeah, for sure. And one of my favorite scenes in the film is when the parents who've they want to protect their kids and they've done so by not telling them what they really are. But not to spoil the film, but something horrific happens
Yeah.
and they no longer have a choice. They have to tell them the truth, and they sit them both down and they say, "Listen, there's something we should have told you years ago. We're vampires." And the kids can't believe it. They can't cope with this new truth.
Yeah.
It's so fantastical and unbelievable. And we look at how Clara, the daughter, and Rowan, the son, they both deal with it in very different ways. And as everybody would, everybody deals with addiction or addictive behaviors in very different ways. And one of the things that really excites me is that it's a love story that Rowan falls in love with the boy next door at the
Yeah.
same time as exploring this very destructive discovery that he's a vampire who wants to drink blood. And vampire movies have always conflated that dark desire for destruction and sexuality. So doing that through the lens of a rites of passage queer love story is something that I think is really innovative and exciting in the film.
And with that being said, did you have any issues, like any challenges translating the internal struggles of the characters, um, more into the visual narrative? Did you have to give a lot of directives, especially to the kids?
I think film and drama is all about action and characters doing stuff, and sometimes an internal discovery in movies. You have to find ways of expressing that externally, through action and through image, and that's always a struggle, I think, for me when I'm adapting or developing new drama. How do you share what's going on in a character's head with an audience? How do you make the audience feel what a character's feeling in any given moment? And a key to transcending that challenge is turning that into internal action into external action, but also casting. You
Yeah.
need to get a really great, empathetic, charismatic, appealing cast who an audience watch and they kind of go, "Ah, that's me in that moment," and you empathize and you live their life for the duration of the film.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this family is just someone that could be easily be your neighbors. I mean, they're just, you know, scary enough. But yeah, no, they easily, I could see them being my next door neighbors. So really good on the casting. Um, and then how did you approach designing the vampires? Like the appearance, the behavior, just kind of because it might have been challenging because they're trying to suppress it so much.
Yeah, I think they're about the stories about vampires who hide. So to begin with, we didn't want to give the game away, and
Yeah.
yet very subtle hints in the opening sequence. We see Helen's making. She's obsessed by red-colored foods, and she can't resist making a blood pudding, or she can't resist cooking sausage, blood sausages for breakfast. And on the kitchen countertop, there's a bottle of Factor 50 suntan lotion for the eagle-eyed viewers. So we get those hints very early on of what these creatures really are, and then there's a point that comes in the first act, which explodes the secret, and we discover for sure in a quite a horrific scene that they really are vampires. So I think that journey from passing as something that you're not into the honesty of having to face your true self and the ugliness of that is kind of what the film's really about.
You mentioned the color of red, and I did notice the sunscreen. That was a that was a good one. And then the red wine when it spilt on near the white carpet. I mean, it just really stood out.
Yeah, and we've I worked with the production designer and the cinematographer to try and limit and control our palette as much as we could. And
Yeah,
the palette of the movie is the palette of dusk. And we've got lots of indigos and ochres and dark yellows and burnt reds. And we wanted the the way that we've designed the house and the costumes of the characters to speak of these moments of transition in the day where day becomes night, and to speak of the time that humans transform into vampires classically.
yeah,
But we also wanted to look at suburbia and that very human hinterland beyond, and borrowed from films like Edward Scissorhands, and the all the neighbors are dressed in these really pretty pastels, because they're the safe characters.
yeah.
Although it turns out that all the humans have got their own foibles as well, and none of them are kind of morally untainted.
You really did an awesome job projecting that on the screen. And thank you again so much for taking time out of your schedule. I know you've been filming, so thank you so much for speaking with me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for your time. Thanks,
All
Ryan.
right.
Okay.